Mysteries. Today we have a very, very special treat because I am going to be inviting into the spotlight some beautiful temple sisters. These are modern day blood mystery initiate priestesses that have been walking this path for some time. And we'll be peeling back the veils and the curtains that you may receive a direct experience of what a modern day blood mystery practitioner looks and feels like, and what life is like once we cross over this threshold into the temple. Okay, so as we open the conversation to receive the different experiences from different times in women's life and different life structures, feel free to comment any questions that you may have that might want to be addressed during this call as well. And at the very end, we'll be addressing any questions that might arise around our program itself, the home study journey into sacred menstruation. So let me first introduce you to our sisters. I'm going to be bringing them up online, and you will recognize them from our Lionsgate portal. We have Catherine and Daisy and Lisa and Robin today with us to share their unique experience within this lineage. And I'm going to continue allowing women in. So for the first query, I'm going to invite these beautiful women to speak to you about what it's like to practice blood mysteries in their life, what kind of practices they have and hold within their modern day life, what that looks like for them. So I'm going to invite Daisy in to share first. Okay, I'm going to take us off the screen so that you may receive Daisy fully in her share.
Thank you so much, sisters, and thank you so much, beloved Catalina. I feel so much deep lineage alignment ever after I start walking the path of blood mystery temple. And I feel like this deep calling how to connect with my inner medicine, how to feel the inner sacred potency of my kind of like there's a rhythmic dance as the moon rises and falls, and so naturally is my own inner rhythm. How can I respect my inner sacred temple? Just listen deeply within. What does she want? What does she desire? And how could I accommodate her better? And I feel like this is really amazing journey, inner journey, and also to find sisters who is on the similar path and witnessing my inner growth. It's just truly amazing, and also realize there's a deep sacredness within my own body and my emotion, and I know like how to cherish this wisdom, and this is something that I've been feeling and listening, being more present with self and self-love and self-care and every cycle, and just am truly grateful and blessed to have you all here with me, walk this journey with me. Thank you.
Thank you, sweet Daisy, for that sweet share of your experience of the blood mysteries. So I'm going to bring in our beloved sister Catherine now to share what's in your awareness around this query of our modern day practice.
The big question, in fact. I am a wise woman. I'm coming from France and I'm living in France, and we don't have the same culture. And my mother was a mother who has lost the transmission of the menstruation, of the blood, of the feminine, of the motherhood. So I'm coming from a place where all was to create or all was to receive, I will say. So my life, I have been leading my life to find the feminine inside, having no example outside. And in fact, the blood mysteries, it takes me 10 years to find the temple. Because 10 years ago, I enter wise woman, and I lose the only thing that I know that was showing me that I was a woman. It was my blood. And during 10 years, I was looking for a temple where I could discover the mysteries that I was looking for since my age of 14 years when I bleed for the first time. So that's my history, or my earth story, if you want. In my daily life, every time that I have doubt, uncertainty, contradiction, hesitation, I remember my womb connection. And when I am in my mind, blah, 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 I dive into my womb. And at the moment I dive, all stop. And clarity, truth, guidance, clairvoyance, wisdom come back. So I just want to offer you that. The deep dive into the womb is the return to the feminine, to the deep feminine, to the strong feminine. And I call her voice when I am working with women to support my personality to surrender to the mystery and open to receive. When I need to rest, for example, or to restore my body, when I am exhausted, I deep dive into the temple, into the pool that you have perhaps met a few days ago, to receive holding, nurturance, nourishment. And in my daily life, I am always held by my sister, by Catalina, by the temple, because I know that I have a place of sacredness, of devotion, of compassion, of true love and respect. And it's very important for me. And the big haha I have in the temple is my temple is my body. And you can laugh at that, saying, wow, it's obvious, but not. It is not obvious when you don't know the feminine. And when you are a very clever woman living in his head, you can embody your life as your temple. But when you go back to the womb, yeah, your temple is your body, truly. And a woman can find wisdom, deep connection with Mama Gaia, with the divine feminine. Without that, the body is my temple, and my womb is my guidance. My womb is my master. My womb is my knowing, is my truth, is my authenticity. It is there that it lives. And for me to heal the split between the mind and the body, between the heart and the womb, between the feminine and the womanhood, it's the gift of the blood mystery for me. And I really feel that the holding, I will just read you some things that I received for today. Without a womb connection, a woman does not truly embody what she is and cannot be a true vessel of the mother. There are missing parts, the voice, the ears, the mouth, the eyes of her through the womb. Do you want to feel one in yourself?
Thank you, Catherine, for that beautiful transmission and for sharing so beautifully of your own experience of the temple, receiving the riches of your life and your experience. Thank you, beloved sister. Oh, deep bow to you, our wise woman of the temple. And I'm going to invite in our beloved sister, Lisa, to share next, love.
So for me, when you ask about practice, daily practice, I started with just paying more attention to the cycles in the beginning, when I met you. I had started practicing collecting my moon blood before and doing some rituals on my own. And then when I found you, it just brought me on a deeper journey to go deeper, to explore. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to take time when I know that my moon blood is coming, because my cycles are pretty regular. And so just resting and collecting my moon blood and using this every month. So collecting it and putting it in a fridge as well, and using it when I need it as well. So just having that moon blood there for me has become my medicine in a way. And for me, to know that I do carry my own medicine has been really helping me to trust more again into my body. Because when I came into the blood mystery, that was, I can't remember if it's now a few years ago, but I already then had a feeling what would happen if I go into menopause, and I was scared of, would it be, that this feeling of how am I going to deal with menopause and all of these stories. So coming through the blood mystery in the last few years, that really helped me to heal all of those wounds and give me stability to know that I do have that medicine within, and that deep connection to the mother through my own moon blood. And I think doing all the rituals and ceremonies and putting my moon blood, collecting it and putting it back into the Mother Earth and on my land really helped me to ground deeper and give me more and more stability in my body. And also something else, when I was listening to Daisy and I was thinking about this deep connection to the mother and her love. That's also something that really helped me deeply to heal. And yes, so as a woman that has not had any children, I always had a feeling that somehow in my women's circles, or somehow when my pregnant mums would ask me at my work, do you have children? I would have to say, no, I don't have children. So for me, coming through the blood mystery really helped me to let go of this idea that I have somehow failed, or I wasn't enough, or something was wrong with my body. I think that's also was a very deep wound. And when I realized that my purpose today was being a woman that was supporting other mothers and was on another path than birthing physical babies, that my creation was also with babies, that really helped me to heal that gap and that wounding, to realize I'm here as a womb priestess, supporting other women as well at this point in life and in this lifetime. So that's the other thing really helped me in the blood mystery to heal that wound. Yeah.
Thank you, sweet sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all the gifts you've received and practiced, and for being one of our many beautiful seers, anchoring the sacredness of the path of the seer, the woman that is here without physical children, but fulfilling a very essential role in the mystery and in the community. So thank you for that, beloved. Honoring you, love. And let's see, let's go to our beloved Robin.
You know, yeah, the title, the idea, just the name Womb Priestess carries so much power and magic. And that's something that I hold very dearly, Womb Priestess in modern day. And for me, as a wise woman, as an older woman, I grew up not speaking of moon time, not really having that discussion with mother, grandmother, aunties. It wasn't spoken of. But I remember the first time I had my first moon blood, I was excited. I wasn't scared. It was something very magical. And I felt like I was alone in that, because I had friends who didn't speak that way, that it was a secret that I held within myself for decades. And I always knew it was special. I always knew that there was something more to it. But being alone with it didn't give me the grounding. It didn't give me the anchoring that I knew there was something more. And so then later in life, post-menopause, I was fortunate enough to meet Catalina and was introduced to the blood mysteries. And I too felt that I carried the stigma that I'm not currently bleeding. I don't fit in. How can I be of service at this point in life? What can I really contribute? And it was something that I struggled with for a long time until I became connected with the sisters. And like the other sisters here have said, there's such a sacredness and there's such strength and grounding just in exchanging stories. And I have to say that I feel so connected and so held, even in the most difficult times, the incarnations, the difficulties that, in this case, me as an older woman, I'm going through, just provides that holding, that embrace. And I had many moments of skepticism with it. Yet every time I wake up and I think, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, I just lean back into Mother. I embrace the silence. I embrace the void, because I know that is the safe place. That was the feeling I had when I was 12 and a half and I had my first moon time. And I knew there was something so special. I didn't know to collect it. I knew that there was a connection somehow to offer it back to the earth, and secretly I would take a little bit of it and put it in the house plants, and I wouldn't tell anybody. The fear, the stigma, the conversation never happened, but I knew there was something bigger and there was something very magical about it. And I thankfully always had that thread of connection. So later in life, at 60, 59, 60 years old, it's finally validated, and I'm anchored, I'm held, I'm heard by sisters of different ages who share that same sentiment. And so for me, leaning into Mother, leaning into the sacredness and sanctity and sovereignty of this beautiful temple is a gift. So I laugh and I'm moved just with the idea of that, those two words, womb priestess. I would never think to wear that. But over the years, every woman has it. Every woman has it in them at all ages, all phases of life. It's just a matter of knowing that there's a place for it. I didn't know there was a place for it. And then the gate opened up and I literally dove in. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that there was something big and something safe and something nurturing that I just didn't get anywhere else. I certainly didn't get it on my own. And I wasn't having these discussions with the other women around me, the other women in my life, especially my mom, my grandmother, my aunts. And it just filled such a void in me. It just tethered me back to earth, back to Gaia, knowing that wherever I am, if I am in a difficult situation, if I'm going through a difficult time in my present life or wherever it is, I know that I can just lean into it no matter. And that's the beauty of it. That's the medicine, that it's all in us. And I'm trying to be the mom who teaches my daughter. I'm a late in life mom. And I want my daughter to have these stories, to have this knowledge, to have the strength, to have the potential to anchor in and to ground. At this age, she hasn't had her first moon time yet. It's coming. And she's thrilled and she's excited and she asks questions comfortably. She embraces her body. She loves her body. And I tell her stories about how I grew up, and it was starkly different. And she just couldn't understand. She said, why didn't you have these conversations with your mom or your sister? And I said, in that generation, they just didn't. Within the house, they didn't. It was hush hush. In society at large, they didn't. In entertainment and TV and commercials in school, it was just never emphasized. And it wasn't emphasized in a positive light. And I know that there are still women, neighbors and friends who I kind of refer to them as the older generation. And I know they have that magic, they have that portal, they have that door, they have the window they could open up. And I kind of gently nudge the conversation. And these are women who are well into their 50s and 60s. And I can sense their curiosity and their willingness to listen. And I also sense the trepidation because of what they grew up with. But I grew up with it too. And I can't emphasize enough, in my most challenging, vulnerable, sensitive states, I do know that I can just take a moment, anchor in, lean into mama, maybe go for a walk. For me, it's in silence, and even in group, in temple. Sometimes I come in quietly and I listen to the stories. And when I feel it's right to contribute, I do. There's no pressure. There's no judgment. But there's so much validation. And sometimes the validation doesn't even come in word. It's just being in circle with sisters. I use transfigured wine, or you could use beetroot juice. At different times, I'll go down to the beach and my daughter and I sing to the waters. We sip a little cacao. I bring the transfigured wine. We offer it back to the waters. It's such a visceral sensation in me. And I remember the very first time I did it, and I was blown away. It was so physical. It was warm. It was embracing. And I just didn't know. I didn't know that medicine was in me. And it was just waiting. It was a matter of time. So it's never too late. Being in group with sisters is so powerful. Here, virtually online, certainly in person, it's just a beautiful experience. And my intention and my goal is to share these stories with my daughter, thankfully, who is open to it and curious and asks questions. And that's where the ripple begins, whether it's with my daughter or if it's my peers, my age, who haven't quite come there yet. The ripple is still happening. And this is what it's all about. It's just putting it out there, being present, staying present, and listening, and just allowing it to flow through me and over me. So I am so grateful. I'm so thankful to have had this experience. And it's not even when it happened. Surely I would have loved to have had this when I was younger, but I'm just as happy and grateful now. It's exciting. It's magical. And this is a medicine that we need to share, even with our, special events here online. The ripple will happen. So I thank all of you for giving me a moment to share my wise woman experience. And it's just an ongoing gift. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Robin, for that beautiful share of your own unique experience. And I am moved to pick up the thread that you just placed with us, because undoubtedly we've heard it from all the sisters. There is this beyond the practices, right, there is this, the deeper layer is this deep connection to mother's love that flows through us, and that deep groundedness with essence within our bodies to our wombs, like Catherine says, to that direct connection to the mystery and the wisdom that flows through us. There is a sense of safety, of sovereignty, of connection with self and with mother as mother planet, mother through the sisterhood, and just mother as this greater force that is always holding us. And yet there is a magic also that happens from the direct practice. Is one of the gifts of our blood mysteries, is that this very real coherent frequency also takes physical form, and that allows us to connect and work with her in a very real way, and it has a very real impact on us, be it that we're using moon blood, or like Robin was saying, using transfigured wine, entering into that physical act, bringing this down from the ethers and the energetics all the way down into a physical, anchored, embodied act, has a profound impact within us, right? This is one of the gifts of womanhood. So I'd love to hear from other sisters, just like Robin shared her experience offering transfigured wine into the waters. And I've been with Robin at the waters, offering back in and having that, not only the inner experience of that connection into the bodies of waters, but also having the delight of seeing Mama Ocean responding through her waves and through her rhythms to that offering. I've had like full moon cups just snatched from my hands from a completely calm ocean. All of a sudden, a huge wave coming in. It's like, this is mine, right? And she begins to play with us in this way. And all these magical experiences that begin to happen either externally or within our own body. Sometimes it's just a simple aha or a shift, but everyone that's in the temple has had one experience where engaging in a rite, either through transfigured wine or moon blood, has created a deep visceral experience of this mystery. So I'd love for you to share one such moment with our sister, just as an example of what unfolds when we have the courage to actually step in. So let's start with Daisy again. I'm going to bring you, and I know you already shared about your plants, so it might be the same story or it might be a different one. Plants and essential oils.
There's so many stories. A lot of time, like I feel it's more like a vibrational prints, what we are tapping into. Actually, that's the very reason led me to the Blood Mystery Temple. Is one day I feel there's a cup in a mason jar, this red colored liquid. In my astral travel space, I pick it up and I drink it. I just feel very nourished. And then later on, I learned that's called sangria. And it has been showing up in my energetic space quite often. Like when I feel part of my body is drained, I can feel my energy field is drained, or kind of like desert space. I can sense and scan my energy field. And I'm just calling into the universe what would be the best nutrition, energy food to feed in. And then instantly I see the same sangria just dropping. And then I just feel like rejuvenated. And I know with certainty, and this is the same frequency as our own inner mystery, our inner medicine that we always carry with us. We just need to cherish it.
Witnessing you, sister, receiving that sangria through the ethers and remembering how it flows through you, and that deep sense of nourishment that comes from that frequency, be it through the ethers or through direct sacrament. Thank you, love. Okay, let's see. Let's come to Catherine, our beloved wise woman here.
As I am French, I just need that you repeat your inquiry.
If you can share a practice that deeply impacted you. A time where you practiced a blood rite with transfigured wine that had an impact that you want to share with sisters.
Okay. It will be completely different, and I don't know if it is what you are looking for. So what come to me, it is that last year I received a mandala in fabrics of all the seasons of women. And when I received that, I was saying, but why? And it takes me 1 month, around 2 months to to gather all the pieces of that mandala, which is around, in French, we are speaking about meters, around 2 meters, 2 meters. And it's a big mandala, and I have a lot of job to do inside to receive the code and the frequency of the blood mystery, to put the doors of each season and the symbol and the geometric structure on the fabrics with pearls that I was each day. So, and when I receive that, I say, for what? And inside, my woman tell me, you don't have to know why. You just have to be the vessel of the mother. So in blood mystery, I really feel that we are humble. I don't know if it is what you were looking for, but it is what for me.
That's what's coming to be shared, and I receive that and I appreciate it, because this is also what happens, right? As wise women, one of the things that you do is you receive the mystery in a different way, right? And you are a channel of mother's love, and through your practices, you receive creations that are brought into form in a different way, right? And I remember your beautiful mandala and the potency of what was transmitted in that. And I love this aspect that you are highlighting, that this is part of the mystery. There's a lot of talk in other spiritual communities about manifestation. In this lineage, we are all about co-creation, and that requires, like you said, humility. There is this showing up and being the empty vessel and trusting in what comes through, even when half the time we don't know what it is or what it's for. But when you're in this frequency long enough, right, you learn to navigate with that in the unknown, in the void, and you see the results, right, of where then that mandala is acting as a transmission. And I remember how it held circles that you held later on, right, and was the focal point for work that came later, right? In this lineage, you don't need to know all the steps, right? We are trained into going into the emptiness and receiving what is there and trusting what is there and trusting the unfolding, and magic always unfurls from that. So thank you, beloved sister, for sharing that beautiful practice of receiving from the mystery and trusting the mystery and the beauty that emerges, right? Even when we don't have physical moon blood. And I'm highlighting this because this is one of the common things that our wise women kind of struggle with at the beginning, the not having the physical moon blood to work with. And that's not an impediment in any way. You can do absolutely everything that the bleeding women do with transfigured wine if you so choose. And on top of that, you have your own key to the mystery and your own way to relating with your inner mystery that is available to you because you are a wise woman. So thank you for embodying that, beloved Catherine. And I'm going to come to Lisa now, as she is in my field.
So I also would have a lot of stories, magical stories. And as you're saying, I didn't share that before, but coming from more the cycles, coming more deeper into the pool of the mother's mystery, you know, like Catherine described, is really for me, that's the most powerful part of the blood mystery, to be able to go so deep into the mystery that is within us in that pool, which is part of the wise woman. But knowing that it's always there. Yes, I do have my moon blood still coming once a month and I can use it, but knowing that there is always, that's what I'm working most of the time. So I sort of have let go of tracking the cycles. I'm just sinking more deeper into the big ocean in a way, and into that pool. So if there is anything going on in my life, like stress or really challenging situations, that's always where I go. I go back into my womb and into the blood mystery temple, and I sit at the pool and just sit with that until and I use this as a protection and also as a place for me to receive where I need to go next. Yeah. And so with some of the magical stories, we had a rite of passage last summer, and one of the girls wasn't bleeding yet. But funny enough, she didn't tell us. But then the next day, after this beautiful ritual, she told us the next day that that girl started bleeding during the ritual. So that's one thing that I really realized, wow, this is so magic. Magic just happens when we dive so deep and trust the process. Yeah. And so that's one of those beautiful stories. And other stories like, for a very long time, I always had this feeling I didn't really trust my own health, and I had with skin problems and all sorts of things. And it's by now it's almost just gone, because I've been using my own moon blood on my skin and internally, like sometimes I just use it like almost just as a homeopathic dosage. And sometimes I collect it and I do ritual. And that has helped me to have a much deeper sense of feeling protected. So a good story is maybe during COVID, when this whole thing started, that there was a lot of fear going on. Certain things you're allowed to do and others you're not. And so when this all ramped up, I realized that moment, wow, I have my moon blood and I can do magic with my moon blood, and that I can do good magic with my moon blood. And so I started really using consciously my moon blood to put it in front of my gate to protect my land and also protect my practice, like my clinic I have for my clients. And just knowing that we are protected and I'm protected, and Ani, just transmuting that fear into where we're going, into these new ways of trusting deeply that we are on the right path and we creating the new ways. So that to use my moon blood with this has really strengthened my trust and having direct results as well. I remember once when we were on the other land, for example, and the real estates and just the council and people had tried to take power over the land. And I've been looking after this land for so long and putting all of my love and moon blood and just having this really deep relationship with the land and do ceremonies on the land with the women. And then I realized, wow, I don't want people who don't have a sense of care for the land to come on the land. So I used my moon blood because I knew I had no chance to talk about this with other authorities. And I used my moon blood, and sure enough, they canceled the appointments and they never came to the land. So that's just another magic experience I had, that it does work, because I worked so long with my own moon blood on the land that it somehow magically drawn then the right person who was caring for the land before we left, who was coming to the land. So that was the other really deep experience. And our new piece of land, we have been able to be patriarchies for it, like guardians for it. Right now, I put my own moon blood there as well. So I will do more work on this, on our own land, just bringing this as a new form of establishing a relationship with the land and the animals. And so it's very powerful work, Catalina. And yeah, I'm so grateful for having found having it's for me, it's like a belonging, you know, a deep belonging, having this relationship to my own moon blood, and of course to my womb, and to have the blood mystery here, the temple and the sisters. Yes.
Thank you, Lisa, sister. Thank you for that beautiful share and all that magic. So wonderful to receive each one of you. Oops. I'm wanting to find Robin. There you are, Robin. Is there any other experience that you would love to share?
Really just picking up on what I said before about the experiences by the water, that the water does get excited about the gift. There is definitely a shift in energy. It's so interesting. It's like taking that silent moment in front of the waters, just for a moment, just to breathe in and be present and empty out. And how perfect to empty out right into the waters. But on every single occasion that I did offer wine, yes, it was visceral. And yes, there was definitely a shift in the ripples. There was a shift in the waves. There was just like a shift of energy that I felt so connected. And I know I said it several times, but that's the medicine that we all have. Every woman has it. It's just a matter of offering that awareness that it's there and it's easy. It doesn't take work. It's nothing that we have to think about. I tend to overthink things, and the beauty of this, there's nothing, maybe some song, maybe just some quiet, but there's an exchange of energy. There's this appreciation that comes from the waters and the sand, and just watching it. It's like mesmerizing, just watching the water lap up that moon blood with the transfigured wine. It really is a shift. I've used this word before, but there's like a shift in my ability to empty and just to be in that loving void space. And I see the pattern to it. I tend to be analytical, and I see a pattern in every single time this happens. And I will go in thinking I'm having the most challenging day, or life has really been difficult. But every single time I go down to the water and I offer even the littlest bit, there is a gift that's just tenfold. And that little bit, even if it's for a few minutes, 10 minutes, it's just so profound. And I'm grateful for it. I honor it. I'm humbled by it. I'll use that word again. It's extremely humbling. And, it's a reset. It's just a reset. And I may have to do it 15 times a month. But each time I have that opportunity, I take a moment, no matter the season, no matter the weather. We've gone down in ice storms. We've gone down in blistering heat. There's just this beautiful, gentle exchange of of recognition, inner recognition, that I think a lot of women, they don't talk about or they minimize, and they feel like they don't deserve. And I was one of those women, and I still have my moments, but it's just this beautiful gift that we're born with that needs just to have a little nudge, just a little, acknowledgement that it's there. And when we do it by the water, it's wild. We've sung by the water, we've danced by the water, we've rolled in the sand and just connected with it. And it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take any thought. It doesn't really take much planning. But to have that, having that inner medicine is, again, something I just wish that all women had the opportunity to know is there. Everybody embraces it their own way, or they're afraid to embrace it because of society. But again, as womb priestess, and I even stand tall when I say it, I'm proud to initiate very gently these conversations. And the other day I did with my closest friend since I'm a child. We were talking about some difficulty she was going through with intimacy. And I said, blood mysteries really is an opportunity to kind of dip in very gently and safely. And the response was actually well received. So we just don't know what effect we have on other women, older women, younger women. You just don't know. But as a womb priestess, I kind of feel like this a little bit more fierce, a little bit more grounded, a little bit stronger and confident, because it's coming from within me. There's nothing that we have to work at it. Getting to temple once a week, being present, that's it. And then it unfolds magically, it unfolds beautifully. So my experiences in the practice are really just so near and dear. And I'm happy to know that at least I can teach this to my daughter. So as she grows, she'll be able to create more ripples as well. Thank you, Catalina. And thank you, dear sisters.
Thank you for sharing, Robin, so beautifully your experience, receiving and loving this place of sharing of how, yes, all this magic is within each one of us, and yet it is slumbering, right? And this is part of the magic that happens in temple, right? Because it's like a muscle you've never used, a place you've never touched. But by being in the container and in this frequency, you're attuned. It's like a vibrational fork. By dipping you in that central pool that we've talked about over and over again, into mother's love, into mother's frequency, then that slowly begins to awaken within you, something that we can't usually do on our own. It begins to naturally happen and be catalyzed within you. And like you just said, it unfolds organically and naturally. There is no effort. That doesn't mean there's no work. It doesn't mean we're not challenged and we don't, have to, transmute shadows, because that's literally what's in the way of us touching this mystery, is all the wounding and patterns and belief systems in the mind, right? That we all know all too well. And yet this is so powerful that just by showing up, just by stepping into the frequency, no matter what's going on in your life, just showing up and being there, allowing yourself to be submerged into her ruby red pool, catalyzes the change. You don't have to know how it happens. You don't have to plan how it happens. It just naturally unfolds in divine timing in a unique way for each one of us, but it assuredly unfolds in a magical and beautiful way. So thank you, sweet sister, for sharing that. And I see that we have another sister that has been with us in the temple that we haven't seen a bit, beloved Martha, who says she would like to share her own experience. So I'm just going to bring you in, love. Go ahead.
Thank you, Catalina. Thank you. Yes, I don't remember exactly when I did the journey with you. But in the meantime, a lot had happened. And quite regularly, I was engaging in different rituals, and whether it was Sangreal itself or putting my moon blood into the sea. So we have gone through very difficult times with my daughter. And as a result of some very challenging behavior, I have decided to move out of a big city. And just to find a place with very little means was very difficult, and it was almost like undoable. And I remember a time where I was with my daughter. We were walking in, 2 hours away from where we live, in an area where I was called to sort of look around if there was a place to move to. And I had my moon blood with me in a jar. We went up on that little hill, and I was for the first time doing it in front of her. She was 10 at that time, 10 and a half. And because I was really serious about it, she actually did not say the thing of, blood would be discarded. She didn't express it at that time. And I think only a few months later, I found a place where the landlady accepted me with all this little income that I had. And she trusted I will be able to pay for the rent with all the support that I get. The whole journey took exactly 9 months. 9 months. And so the blood ritual in that moment was somewhere in between. And it gave just the last kick in order to manifest that big move. And this is beyond magic for me, because it was like with my with the linear thinking mind, no, you would have never thought that I would get it, because the requirements are so high of showing the amount of income that you have to all these agencies. But it was magic. It just happened. And yeah, and I did another few little rituals, near the sea, which is where we live now, near the sea in the south coast of the UK. And I remember it was just suddenly a stillness appeared when I secretly, slipped out that moon cup that I had underwater and just emptied it inside the water. And knowing there are lots of people around, it's a little weird, right? But actually it was magic. And I can't describe it in words. And you all know what it's about. But I just was feeling I wanted to share this. And I've only done the introduction of the 7 weeks, like I think what you're offering again now. And it's enough to dive into the magic if you practice it. It's beautiful. So thank you so much. And I need to say one more thing. My sister Lisa here on this call encouraged me so many times to and she reminded me, just use your blood when I forgot, when life was getting really, really hard and difficult. So thank you, Lisa, for cheering me on here.
Thank you, Martha, sweetheart, for coming on, receiving the magic that has unfolded since we were last together in our journey. Blessings on your new place. And thank you for sharing, sweetheart. Thank you for sharing your unique experience of your magic. So loving you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
That reminder, navigating technology. Right, that reminder. Thank you, Lisa, for that beautiful reminder. As we come, this is where sisterhood is so important. Just a reminder to come back. It's here. And yes, like Martha said, so much of what happens in this frequency and in our experience with our moon blood or transfigured wine is so completely beyond words. And that's where the sisterhood is also so valuable, because we all, as you share it, like I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've experienced it too. And it's such a gift to be able to be in a sisterhood that really, really understands, because we are all having that same experience that is beyond words and is deeply, deeply magical and transforms us in ways that are just undescribable. And I feel like that's, for me, it's been one of the deeper powers of this lineage is that it does really, really transform us from the inside out in just such deeply profound ways. So I am aware of our time. So I would just want to offer one last round. Is there anything else that the sisters want to share to our sisters that might be considering stepping into the temple? Daisy, love, bringing you on.
My first time offer my blood to the ocean, I feel this deep sense of heart opening, exhilaration. I feel this deep activation, transmission all night long from the ocean, as if I become the ocean. And I just want to share, I think I got COVID at the beginning, and part of the symptom come with it. It's like I have trouble sensing my body and sensing heart. But through the ritual, it brings me into oneness and feeling into the embodied place with earth, with water, with ocean, and remind me how can I come back to my body, to this temple. So this is something that I experienced, and if possible, I can also share a poem. Would that be okay? Mm-hmm. It's just I'm feeling this feeling of like the Red River, the same Red River here on Earth. It's the same with flowing through each one of us, like feeling this little tiny seasonal streams. Like some of them are huge raging rivers, some of them are soft, serene, gentle streams. All those places are beautiful in their own unique ways. And so are all the people and places in our life. And through our ritual dedication to our inner temple, we can bring ourselves constantly into this heart expansion places in our body. So this is my poem. Let me share it in the chat. Give me 1 second. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, the Zoom doesn't allow me. I'll just read it. Actually, this is from a friend. She shared with us, and she liked me to read it for her. Her name is Lauren. It's called River Flows into River. River flows into river like ribbons wrapping up the pregnant swollen circumference of all the hills and mountains girding the belly of the earth. I feel it in you, this rush, the rush I have felt in me when I have known and connected with the certainty and preciousness that life can continue in me, through me, and from me, and will come to bear fruit if it's the last thing I do. The propulsion to nourish and propagate, to spring forth success and abundance, to speak prayers with answers guaranteed into the earth, and have faith and certainty that those seeds will grow wholesomely into the beautiful fruits we have imagined. The comfort that our progeny will prosper because there is always more where that came from. Your river, the same river, deep and wide and connective, linking ourselves and all the spirits blessed to thrive on the oasis, up and downstream from us, which happens to be everyone, all the plants and creatures who share among them this nectar, which allows us our existence, and which, when reach in it, the land we kiss becomes lush and verdant, teeming and breathing and beating, equally full of that blessing. Each of us to offer that nectar from our dripping bosoms, prophets impregnated with twinkles in our eyes, seeing and usher dreams to life in many millions of forms, breaking water again and again, unfolding, emerging, daughter from daughter, mother into mother, each equally full of majesty and the impressiveness of the vast, unfathomable universe. Each a universe within a universe, and with worlds within those heavens, still unfolding to unveil.
Thank you, beloved Daisy, for that transmission, receiving that deeply, and all the beautiful places it took us. And I just want to take a moment just to sit with everything that has been shared, sisters. Wanting to create a small space to see if there's any questions from the sisters that are here, any inquiries that need to be addressed. Welcoming our sisters Amber and Maria, Ascended Harmony, Martha, of course. Let's see who else is here. Jules. Beautiful. And all our sisters that are maybe joining us through the replay. I know I did receive one question from a sister through email about the timing of this offering. So this step into the temple, this what we're opening the gates to is the foundational course. This is the basic wisdom that you need to fully connect to this magic that you hold. It is both spiritual and practical, right? Like Martha was saying, it's navigating not only the energetics, but like, how do we do this in modern day life? Every woman here is practicing this in modern day life and navigating this in modern day life, be it that you are working or you're at home, that you have a family or roommate, or you're on your own. All of that has already been experienced, and there are women anchoring that and have the experience to navigate that and help you navigate it so that you can fully step into this with ease and grace in everyday life. So this is the offering that allows you to dive deep into your womb and heal that very intimate connection with your womb and your womb blood, which ultimately is our connection to life and our womanhood. This is the core of the core, right? And this is why this offering is so tremendously powerful, because it's through this gateway that we find everything that the sisters have said: the safety, the belonging, the trust, the wisdom, the trust in self, the anchoring in self, the coming back to your body temple, that feeling one with Gaia. All these experiences unfold from healing this direct relation, this most intimate primordial relationship with your womb, with your blood, with mother and life, because it all comes down to that one beautiful substance, right? That is our womb blood, and that is a physical manifestation of a deeper and vaster energetic reality. And yes, we all have our womb blood in our wombs, and yet it's not necessarily easy to access, because like the story of the Grail, right? Because of all that has happened, the Grail Maiden has gone underground. The waters aren't necessarily here as the living waters that they are, right? So this whole process is about giving you the practical information, as well as providing the spiritual and energetic container for you to unpeel the layers that have disconnected you from your own wisdom, and to help attune you and kind of, it's almost like finding that inner pathway back home within your own body, which is unique to every one of you. But by being in the sisterhood, by sitting in that frequency, you naturally find your way back, which is something very difficult to do on your own. So Our blood mysteries has always been practiced in sisterhood. It is tremendously important. Not one of us has the whole picture, and this is why we have these circles, right? And what I can't see, Catherine sees, and what Catherine can't see, Lisa sees, and what Lisa can't see, Daisy sees, and then Robin, right? We all bring in unique fractals of the whole in a way that we can all rise together. That's at the heart of this. So back to the question. The question was if we were going to be offering this again. We always open the gates for the Lionsgate portals. Sometimes we have offered the gate again in January. This year, I am not quite sure if we're going to be opening the gates again in January before there are other projects that are brewing within our temple. So my invitation is, if you are feeling the call, is jump now for it may not be open again till next August. Okay, and this is the gateway into the deeper initiates journeys and all kinds of other beautiful work that we do inside the temple. Let me just check and see if there's any other questions that may be here. Okay, I guess that's it. If any other questions arise, feel free to put them in the chat, and I can address them in the Facebook page at another time. And I'm just going to bring all of us back online one more time as we close, and invite, if there's anyone else that feels like a need to share a word or a message to our sisters that may be considering stepping through the portal, anything else that hasn't been shared that's important, this is the moment. Is there anything else, my beloved temple sisters?
Maybe I can share, my brain is not working so well because I'm going into my moon time. But for me, this process with the moon blood coming so much deeper into my primal body and to that deep raw connection of my own body and primal feminine self I find this so important as we are rebirthing a new paradigm and earth. So what I notice a lot with a lot of women, that we're so trained to be in these realms, the mental realms. And so for me, the blood mystery is really this deep, healing of the shame and disconnection of that primal part of ourselves. So I just needed to say this. And that's for me. Yeah, it's so important, when we go into the birthing process, that we can become comfortable with our fluids and and have that deep connection to it. Yeah, so that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Lisa, for that thread, the reclaiming of our primal bodies and primal wisdom and being able to fully be here with her. Thank you, love. Any other words of parting from our sisters? Go ahead, Catherine. Oh, I think you're muted, love.
Yes, I just want to add that for me, the red thread of woman and the red river are the foundation of life. And that red thread, I belong to with my sister, I know, but most of all, I belong to my lineage. I am daughter of my mother, she is daughter of her mother, and so on. And I am daughter of the great mother. And that red thread for me is my medicine. Never forget that I am never alone in the mystery. I am always surrounded by daughters who have become mother, who have given birth to daughter, who have become mother. I don't become mother, but I am surrounded by daughter and mother. So, all my love.
Oh, thank you for that remembrance of belonging and our connection and healing of our lineages that happens when we step in. So that red thread flows and surrounds us once again. Thank you, loves. Any other parting words from our sisters? No. Yeah, go ahead, Daisy.
I just want to say that for all the sisters, I'm grateful for all of them who participate in our event, and bowing deeply for each one of your inner knowing for coming here, just listening to that place, because that's the place that gave birth to all and gave us this inner sense of freedom and connectedness, that we are all oneness together, and we have this inner magic can give birth to the beings, and this pulsating sense of oneness with Gaia Mama Earth and with the whole universe. We're together.
Oh, thank you for that, Daisy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, 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 bowing first of all to the sisters that have shared their hearts and their wounds and their experiences today. Thank you, beloved Catherine and Daisy and Lisa and Robin and Martha, who jumped in to share her experience. Thank you for the wisdom that flows through you, that we may all be nourished and see more clearly where we are through your eyes, through your hearts, through your wombs. Thank you to all the sisters that have joined us today live. Seeing you, sisters, welcome you in with open hearts. Bowing to the sisters that will be joining us through the replay, and yes, bowing to the deep well of wisdom and magic and love that flows through each one of you, honoring that place in you, whatever your choice is. Just know that this temple exists anchoring this frequency, and if you are called, we welcome you with open arms. There is a thriving, intimate, very loving sisterhood wanting to embrace you and rejoice with you as you uncover this magic that flows through each one of us. So bowing to all that have been here, to our lineages, to our red river that flows backwards and forwards, to our blood mysteries temple through the ethers and on the planet. Thank you, one and all. Oceans of blessings, much love, happy moon times, and we hope to see you inside.